All right, our voices shooting onto the internet.
Yes, voices carry.
All right, our voices shooting onto the internet.
Yeah, there it is. That is a sweet, sweet picture of Mr. Jason Voorhees. But the rumor is he's coming back in 2023. Finally, back to the big screen.
Do you have a favorite Jason Voorhees from the movies? Like, there was a different guy playing him in almost every movie until Kane Hodder, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got to stick with Kane Hodder just because I go a little bit rogue, and I think my favorite, surprisingly, is Jason X. It holds a really close place in my heart. We got lucky enough to see that at Terror Tuesday on glorious 35 millimeter.
35 millimeter.
Yeah, man, it's just something about the way Kane Hodder performed that in that movie. He really found a way to take him out of the woods, put him in space, and still capture that dark, quiet, brooding violence. You know my favorite shot in that scene?
What's that?
Well, my favorite kill is obviously the the cryotherapy head freeze.
Right.
But my favorite shot in the scene, in the movie, is when he's chained up in Camp Crystal Lake Laboratories, and he just slowly turned his eyes to the left. That was it.
Yeah.
His eyes were forward, and it just went a little bit to the left.
Kane Hodder was the first one to kind of bring a performance to it.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the first five of them, it's like a stuntman.
Yeah.
They basically got a stuntman in there to take bumps as Jason, right? That was how they booked Jason the entire first half of the series.
Right.
And it wasn't until Kane Hodder came in where it was like, no, Jason is a character.
He is a character.
Jason has feelings. Jason turns his body before he turns his head.
Yeah, and that was, I think...
Shut up, Podcat.
Was that the first horror movie icon that really did that? Where he... I know Freddy was the first one that really enveloped a personality with one-liners, but even Michael Myers, right? He was the shape. He was just slow moving. Where what's up,
Nick Castle?
Nick Castle, right?
Yeah.
Kane Hodder is really associated with that character so well, just because he said he's not just going to move, sit up. He's going to really jump into this. Dude, I'm liking this. Look at this. We're here after dark.
Yeah.
This feels great. I love that vibe. Austin, Texas, after dark, things get a little weird, and we're going to go and finish off some stuff that we wanted to talk about. We still had more to get off our chests, so we thought, why not
the
stream?
Wednesday show turned into all AEW. It became all-consuming.
Yeah. An AEW scrum bag event.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to keep it, since it's after dark. We're going to go horror because, of course, we know Friday the 13th in 3D, which you're going to talk about. But the hot take that Joe Bob Briggs on the last drive-in confirmed, Jaws is a horror movie. It's a monster movie.
Who questioned that?
Yeah, there's some people who questioned it, that it's not a horror movie. But how can that not be a horror movie?
How is a shark eating children not horror?
Yeah, eating children on screen. Alex Kittner, hands in the air, waved them like he didn't care because he was getting
Eating
chewed up.
children and war veterans.
And dogs.
Pipette.
Pipette.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horror movie if the dog gets...
Yeah, if the dog gets it, you're watching something very terrifying. So yeah, we're just gonna go into those really, really fast. Which one you want to go with first?
I mean, we're talking about Jaws already.
Yeah,
so why don't you tell me a little bit about
Jaws.
You went to go see Jaws in IMAX.
Jaws in IMAX.
It's also playing in 3D. You know this?
It is, and I really did debate the real 3D versus the IMAX, but I was just so curious that how do you take a movie, it's clearly been digitized, but how do you take a movie that's made in 1975 and get it to fill a full IMAX screen? So I didn't pull any punches. I didn't go to one of the movie chains IMAX. I went to the granddaddy of all IMAXs in Austin, Texas, the Bob Bullock Museum.
And that's a hall because you have to go with the no assigned seating.
No assigned seating.
And the limited snack bar.
Yes, very
limited snack bar.
Yeah, salty, old school movie popcorn.
It's like a tiny little stand. It's not like a full bar with a fountain cokes. It's just like a tiny one little closet.
Yeah, it's very, very small. But I don't know if he was the owner or was the manager, but I really started chatting it up with him when I grabbed the free IMAX poster, and he started hitting me with some movie trivia.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. He was talking about the writer of Jaws. Also, I forgot the other movie he was talking about, right? But he was really cool. And I said, this is the only true IMAX in Texas because before IMAX was just stuff that you'd go to a museum.
Yeah, you should see Battle of the Alamo.
Yeah, Battle of the Alamo.
Raising the Titanic, underwater adventures.
James Cameron's going to show you his cool new sub.
It's not, they weren't shooting stuff on IMAX, but now it's just kind of like a lot of the stuff is just so high resolution they could put it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, exactly. And that's what happened here. They up-resed it way back. I mean, it looked beautiful. The one thing that I really did notice, so I was looking, is it going to fill up the screen? And the answer is no. It filled up a big portion of the screen.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get it to do, wall-to-wall IMAX.
Right.
Understandable.
Not Academy ratio.
But here's the thing. This was the first time that we always noticed that Steven Spielberg always throws a little touch of comedy in his movies. I think M. Night Shyamalan kind of followed in that. He throws a little comedy in there, and his background characters are unreal, and I noticed them so much more in IMAX than I ever did before.
Yeah.
Like, there was two guys in, when they were debating, are you going to close the beaches? They look like Starsky and Hutch. Did you know Starsky and Hutch were at that?
All the extras look like Starsky and Hutch. They're all 70s cop show extras.
It was the mustaches. The people on the island were just so unreal and they just jumped out at the screen when you saw it in this immersive experience. But it was beautiful. It's one of those movies that when you're seeing it, watching it in the theater like that, you are engulfed, even though you know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to quote every line that's going to happen. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh, cry. You're going to cry at all the right stuff. And it worked. It just gave me this immersive experience of, and I'm clearly unbiased.
Well, yeah, the biggest screen, right? So that's what makes it immersive?
Yeah. Oh, man. But it's just and the crowd still popped at all the same stuff.
Did you have a big crowd?
It was a decent. No, it was an okay crowd.
Oh, podcast.
Podcast.
She's doing it again. She's behind you.
Oh, okay. What's up? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, man, her silhouette too. Mm-hmm. It's like the dream of 1,000 cats.
So you had a decent crowd.
It was a decent crowd, but I went to an earlier one, and in my defense, I had to pay $20 extra for parking because it was UT's opening game. So they hijacked the garage and what's normally $10.
Oh, I added sound effects. I didn't take.
Oh no, that's nice. But yeah, normally $10, but there's a YouTube game, so you're gonna get a lot of hook 'em horns crash in the garage. So it's $25, and I'm like, I'm going to see Jaws, not the game. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I was like, I got it right
then
here.
Then it's 30, nerd.
Yeah, he literally did the sucks to be you, nerd. But no, it was a decent crowd. They gave us a beautiful poster. Same poster. I have one of the from Blockbuster Videos. I bought one of their $50 for one of their wall hangers, but it's the same one, but it says IMAX at the bottom. So, but I'm telling you, dude, the crowd was popping at all the spots they're supposed to pop. When he's like, Michael, get out of that boat, and he's like, don't, why are you yelling at him? It's his birthday. He's like, he's never going to go in the water again. He's like, now don't say that. And then she starts looking at the book and she's like, Michael, did you hear their father out of the water now? Now. And the crowd popped. It's like, this joke still works. And it was so subtle.
I mean, it's classic.
Yeah, no, it works so well.
And Spielberg is such a master technician. Everything, it just works so fluidly.
Yeah.
There's that one shot in Jaws, which always gets me. The shot where they're on the ferry and he's talking to the mayor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one continuous shot. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but the shot where they're on the ferry and they're in the back of the ferry, it's literally, the camera does not cut for 5 minutes.
Oh, you're right.
And it's them talking. They move the camera slightly, and then the rest of it is the ferry in the background. So you're still getting all that movement in the background. So it feels like it's really kinetic, but really the camera's just sitting there.
And they went. I noticed that in this screening, he got on the boat. He was going to go out there and talk to the scouts that are going for their mile swim. They got on there and they went the whole, like you said, from side to side.
Yeah.
When he went in there, and that's when he did this. If you yell barracuda, people are like, "Huh? What?" You yell shark, and that was another one. That was one of the scenes I was going to tell you about. When the mayor got out of the car, there was 5 very large grown men that somehow poured out of that car. The medical examiner got out of there, the reporter, and then he's like, oh, maybe it was a boating accident. It's like, you'll stand? Yeah, I'll stand by that. That was so good.
I still want to see it. It's still playing in 3D in various theaters. So
Yeah,
I'd like to try and get. Alamo's doing all the 3D movies this month. I told you, and they're still running it.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So I'd like to get out and see Jaws 3D. I don't know. I'm into that.
It's
I'm
totally
marking out
worth
for
it.
3D right now.
Yeah, and you're gonna catch so much stuff. Like we've seen this movie so many times, you're gonna catch more stuff. Like it just hit me this time that when they caught the wrong shark, when Hooper had the pencil in his mouth and he said "tiger shark," and he's like, what? If you noticed in the back, that shark has an arrow with like feathers sticking out of it. It's like, did somebody have like a toy arrow that they shot, or did somebody literally bring a crossbow?
Is that how they brought the shark down with an arrow?
Yeah, with an arrow. It just had an arrow sticking out of the side of his head.
Mob mentality.
Yeah, the mob mentality was big in that scene. So remember, and they were all bumping into each other, and everybody's smoking in there.
Yeah,
it really sticks out here too. As the guys throwing dynamite out there, like they're smoking. Nothing says 70s like smoking a cigarette hanging out of your mouth with dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. But I pulled up something that I wanted to go over if you're down. I found where did I lose? Did I lose it? Let's see if I got it here.
What was this? Some sort of
Yeah, so it was 25. Let me see if I can find it again. I can't believe I closed it.
Two. You get 2 for that.
Let me go.
The folks want their Jaws content.
Yes.
They showed up.
Yes, here it is. It is from our friends at Mental Floss, who we did some nice Halloween games from this site. So it is 25 incisive facts about Jaws. So you want to go over some of these facts?
Sure.
So it's stuff maybe that they saw this movie too. So I don't know if you know this. You know Jaws is my favorite movie of all time, but I don't know if you know this, but I hate the book. Absolutely hate the book.
You read the book?
I read the book.
And well, I mean, yeah, I think it's like way different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very poor.
Isn't Brody like he's more of a badass or something? He's
more like
he's more like Dirty Harry or something.
Yeah, he is. And what really gets you is Hooper, right? The young, nerd, the rich nerd that he's rich and he does this for fun, has like this shark fetish, and he has an affair with Ellen Brody. And we're after dark, so we can say ejaculates inside of her. His eyes roll in the back of his head, and like he is a shark at that moment.
What?
As he's having an affair with Chief Brody's wife.
Who has an affair? Hooper does?
Yeah, Hooper has an affair with Ellen Brody in the book.
I hate that. Richard Dreyfuss?
Yes, exactly. The character that was so famous, and this, I don't know if this is a fact in this.
Hooper!
Hooper!
Get off my wife, Hooper!
Who was so popular in the screenings, the test screenings, that they saved him. He dies in the book, spoiler. He was supposed to die in the movie in that cage scene, and they saved him because he was so popular, which I thought R.I.P. That one really hurt. But I understand that there was a dark history in there. Anyway, let me jump back to that because that was the first fact. Peter Benchley's book, Jaws, could have been called something else. Jaws was adapted from author Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, the same name, based on a series of shark attacks that occurred off the coast of Jersey in 16, and after the incident where a New York fisherman named Frank Mundus caught a 4,500-pound shark off the coast of Montauk. Other titles Benchley had before settling on Jaws were The Stillness in the Water, The Silence of the Deep, Leviathan Rising, and The Jaws of Death.
The Jaws of Death.
The Jaws of Death sounds like a mock movie in Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah. Well, isn't there a movie called The Jaws of Death? It's called like Mako, The Jaws of Death.
Oh yes, Mako, which is the jagged tooth shark that is really scary. But that's it just reminds me of Kentucky Fried Movie. That's Armageddon. That was a Samuel L. Bronkowitz production.
Well, I've told you that story about how the Jaws 3 script out there originally was pitched as a comedy.
Oh yeah, you said Jaws 3, People None.
Yeah, and
People
Joe
Zero?
Dante was going to do it. Post Gremlins or pre Gremlins.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, that was going to be his thing, but last minute they swerved. And
I
said,
like-
no, let's make a 3D movie in a weird format that we will never be able to replicate on a disc or a tape again.
And I'd love to see, like, if the AGFA could repair, like, find a copy and repair it. But you told me that there's not a lot of known copies out there.
There's something wrong with that movie. Now, we got to do some research on that, but for some reason, that movie's completely screwed.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like crap everywhere. Like, you see other old 3D movies, for some reason, they can replicate them.
Yeah.
They did something. Maybe they used a new experimental camera. I don't know, but
Yeah, even when you see it on TV, it still feels very off compared to the other movies.
it looks bad.
Like the other movies are able to pivot and you're able to play it on regular TV, but the bad 3D still comes through. So, number 2 fact, Peter Benchley makes a cameo in Jaws. So this was interesting because he reminded me of the guy from Piranha that if you check out our socials, I believe it's on our Instagram and our TikTok. Remember you made the meme of just like murder, death, kill, film at 11 from Piranha?
That's from Piranha?
That was from Piranha. But Peter Benchley actually plays the character that was based on that one for Piranha that was talking at the beach about a killer shark. So I thought that was cool. I don't know if, we can see if you can find the picture. But number 3, and this one I really liked. Steven Spielberg got the directing job on Jaws because of the movie Duel. Remember that movie Duel?
That was like they're fighting trucks.
Yes. I love Duel. Duel was very cool. That was at a time where they were trying to make horror movies out of vehicles with nobody in it. Do you remember the movie The Car? Nowhere to hide, nowhere to stop. The Car.
I don't remember The Car.
You don't remember The Car?
No.
1977? Oh, you got to watch The Car. That might be a great Terror Tuesday. Do they do can you put in recommendations? Like, can you put in like a request?
I don't know if you can.
I'd like to see.
I'm sure you could do something.
Oh, I'd like to see The Car. The Car.
See, is this Peter Benchley here?
Yep, that's him. That's him
him?
right there on the left there. So looking very 70s. Very cool. Yeah, so that's the original author. But doesn't he look like that guy from Piranha? Murder?
Yeah, he does. He does. They must have totally ripped that off.
Yeah, they did. Because the Piranha was supposed to be like a spoof, but it didn't come off as a comedy, even though it was clearly a rip.
Was it a
from
comedy?
Jaws. I thought it was supposed to be a comedy.
I don't recall it being a comedy.
No, there was. They didn't play it for laughs, but if that didn't remind you of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I don't know what does.
I mean, it was good enough to get a sequel.
It did. James Cameron too, and then a requel, right? Because they had one pretty recent.
Which those were good. The
Yeah.
Piranha reboots were good.
Yeah, they were really good. I enjoyed them. But anyway, yeah, back on the Duel, Spielberg was chose to direct Jaws, who by Zutnik and David Brown, who worked on with the 20-year-old director on his 74 film, The Sugarland Express, because the Duel, which featured maniacal trucker terrorizing the mild-mannered driver. Oh, that sounds like The Hitcher. It reminds me of The Hitcher, but that would be really good. All right. 4th fact, there aren't a lot of Jaws in Jaws. The shark doesn't fully appear. I think everyone knows that the Jaws is not working. I mean, the shark is not working is a very good...
It's a thing of legend.
Yeah, it is a thing of legend, and they say it saved the movie in a way, which watching it does, right? All you need is... Again, that was another audience scene pop when all of a sudden, when Charlie used his wife's holiday roast and threw it in there and he ripped the dock out, and then you just saw the dock. And they cleaned up the sound so well that when that dock turns around, you hear, It's like, take my word for it, Charlie. Don't look back. Swim, Charlie. Swim. And you heard the dock. It was beautiful. So there's a lot of scenes, the barrels, they didn't really need the shark. No.
Well, I mean, it created, right? It's like what you imagine is scarier than what you see. So
Yeah.
it just, by default, they ended up creating that accidentally.
Yeah.
They
tapped into a primal fear.
And it helps when you have an extremely, gifted and talented director like Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Who just so happened to be one of the greatest directors of all time. It's like the movie's falling apart. It could have been like, whatever. If it would have been I don't want to bury any directors, but like, somebody else, they would not have been able to handle the complete thing falling apart.
No, they would have.
Because like, I think being a director on a film is the way I always look at it. You can be, you are either the most important person on set or the least important on set. Important person on set. There's like no in between.
Yes.
It's like you have to be that. It's like either you're gonna carry the movie to the end or the crew's gonna carry it. So how's it gonna go down?
Yeah.
In a perfect scenario, yeah, everybody's working together and it's fluid. But like when things go wrong, when things are crashing, and you have to make decisions on the fly and you have to rewrite on the fly, it's like, who's going to do it? Are you going to be the guy? Can you be the guy to handle that pressure? Or are you going to have the crew carry it to the end?
Yeah, you got to be the hero and you got to have enough passion to carry it through. Which is the next fact. The film took a very long time to make, marred with technical problems, including the shark not working and shooting on the Atlantic Ocean with the tides that didn't agree with it. It was originally scheduled for a 65-day shoot, and it turned into 159, not including post-production.
That's wild. Is that half a year?
Yeah, 150.
Shoot a movie for half a year. Does that happen these days? I can't imagine.
Not on purpose.
Any stars would sign up for a 6-month movie. I suppose Avengers is a 6-month movie, but it's one of those. I think Avengers is like, oh, we'll fly you in a couple days a month to shoot in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
No, you go be on a boat for 6 months.
Yeah, on the legit Atlantic Ocean.
On the legit Atlantic Ocean, and he didn't want to shoot in a tank.
No.
They said we'll make this movie in a tank, and he's like, nope, it's got to be on the ocean. And then he was like, FML.
Yeah. But it did work because some of those shots are beautiful. Like the shooting star, that was the serendipitous shot, that wasn't planned. And when they show Brody at night and he's like, Martin, and you see the shooting star go behind, that was like the good luck saying that, yes, this film is going to be okay. And that shooting star was so bright in IMAX, so I thought that was really cool. We know this fact. Jaws Amity was actually shot in Martha's Vineyard. We talked about here on the show. Quint's shack was the only one set built for the movie, while it defaced Amity Island billboard had to be constructed and taken down in one day. So very cool. You should. We're going to try to go there for that 50th. If we can get there to Martha's Vineyard, that would be awesome. Another fact: the shark actually weighed more than a ton.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a fake shark weighing a ton in the actual Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah, and when you look at the
unreal is that?
construction of the actual device, because you see it, you just see that shark body,
Yeah.
and you think that's all of it. No, there's an entire scaffolding and levers and pulleys and
Underneath it, yeah.
an entire tower under it that it sits on to operate that shark.
Yeah, that's unreal. And you can now see that totally redone shark by the awesome the makeup magician, Greg Nicotero. K&B, is that his company's name?
He was K&B. I don't know if he's still.
If he's doing his own thing now, because
he's bigger than K&B at this point.
I figure like he is, but they redid the shark. So Bruce the Shark is actually hanging up on the Museum of the Academy Awards in LA now. So so that's very Bruce the Shark. Yes, they still call me Bruce. All right, and then Steven Spielberg took inspiration from Jaws from his legal counsel. The director nicknamed the shark Bruce after his lawyer, who represented other celebrities like George Clooney, Robert Zemeckis, and Clint Eastwood. Nice. Some good old-fashioned elbow grease helped create Jaws' opening scene. So I think this is a fun fact, that actress Susan Backline's legs were actually pulled down by crew members and Spielberg, and Spielberg told them not to let her know when she was going to be yanked back and forth. So her genuine reaction is terrified.
Cheeky directors, man. But that's how you got to do it sometimes.
Yeah. No, dude, but I don't like swimming in the ocean at night is scary. Especially because now this isn't a pool. You don't see what's under there. And she got deep in the water. So I don't know if there were shark spotters for real, right? Because there's actual sharks in the water there. So just the thought of someone like
shoot sharks.
Shoot sharks. Yeah, there is for shoot sharks. My dad, we talked about this many times in the show. When he used to make us go clamming, we'd have to jump in the water and we had to dig with our feet, and he wanted us to grab the clams, and that was a terrifying experience. And it was daytime because you're like, something touched your foot, and then you'd automatically bring your feet down. He's like, put your feet down. We need more clams. You need to fill up this entire bucket. So I couldn't imagine. So I can see her totally being terrified. 10, Roy Scheider landed the lead role in Jaws with a little bit of eavesdropping. He got the part of Martin Brody after overhearing Spielberg talking to a friend at a Hollywood party about the scene where the shark leaps out of the water and onto Quint's boat. Schneider was instantly enthralled and asked Spielberg if he could be in the film. Spielberg loves Roy Scheider from his role in The French Connection, and then he got the part. So that was cool. Here's the opposite of it. Richard Dreyfuss wasn't the first choice to play Hoopa. He initially approached John Voight, Timothy Bottoms, and Jeff Bridges to play oceanographic Matt Hooper. So when none of them could commit to the role, Spielberg's friend George Lucas suggested Richard Dreyfuss, whom Lucas had just directed in American Graffiti.
Isn't it always weird when you hear those casting things that didn't work out?
Yeah.
And it's like big names like that. You can visualize them being in it. I don't see John Voight. I could see Jeff Bridges. I think, no, you know what? He's too handsome. If he was in it, they would have had to do The Affair.
Yeah,
angle.
They would have had to do The Affair.
I think if Richard Dreyfuss is in it, they're just like, no, let's cut that.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't work. Yeah, because he was lovable in that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't bring this up. Maybe it is a fact later, but my fact: did you know that when they originally wrote the role of Quint, it was supposed to go to Lee Marvin?
That would have been
and
something.
I can see Lee Marvin doing that. But man,
in another dimension, there's a version of Jaws where it's Lee Marvin,
Jeff Bridges. oh, yeah, there it is. Never mind. That's the next fact. Actors Lee Marvin and Sterling Hayden were the first and second choices, and they turned it down. And then they got Robert Shaw, whom they previously worked with on 1973's The Sting. On Martha Vineyard's Fisherman was the real Quint. It based him on native fisherman Craig Kingsbury, a non-actor who appears in the film. Oh, it's Ben Gardner. Is this Ben Gardner's boat? Did Ben Gardner catch this? And then we saw Ben Gardner's head with the jump scare, which worked. I took my son to see Jaws with me, and when his head popped out of the boat, he popped.
Wait, how many times has your son seen Jaws?
He's always seen it passively with me, but I don't think this was the first well, he saw it on the water too. So he did go see it on the float. But this one, that was very distracting because you had people around you and they were trying to scare you. This one was you were focused and he jumped. I thought that was cool. Next one, Gregory Peck forced the scene to be cut from Jaws. This I did not know. Quentin was originally introduced while causing a disturbance in a movie theater while watching John Huston's adaptation of Moby Dick. The scene was shot, but actor Gregory Peck, who played Captain Ahab in the movie, owned the rights to the film version of Moby Dick and wouldn't let the filmmakers on Jaws use the footage.
Well, that's a fortunate turn of events because I think having Moby Dick in that movie is a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
And that would have got cut anyway.
Yeah, I think it would. You're right.
Yeah,
that could have been very distracting. We'll cruise through some of these. The book version of Jaws was very different from the movie, like we talk about that affair. So yeah, I can't recommend the book. Steven Spielberg added an off-screen improv moment to Jaws, which I think everybody knows. It's You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat. I think has been voted like the #1 improv of all time. But I did notice in this one that he really kept going back to the well on that, and where it's like, oh, we're going back for a bigger boat now, because I think he probably got such a pop on the set for that improv.
You think he got a pop on the set? Who was even there? Did he hear it?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe just a couple of crew members.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I think things, the way I've always seen it is things on set that don't work, and then they work in the edit. Sometimes things that get a pop on set, and when you see them on screen, they don't work.
Oh, that's interesting. But then
things that like just don't seem like they work, you see them in the edit, it's like, oh wow,
and that's do
surprisingly work.
That's interesting that you say, because I've heard, talking about Caddyshack, I've seen a lot of behind the scenes, and Rodney Dangerfield had to get hyped up by Harold Ramis because he's like, man, I'm dying out there. The cast and the crew, they're not laughing at my jokes anymore. He's like, Rodney, they've heard it like 10 times now. They're not going to laugh every single time. He's like, I'm bombing out here. If you need to cut me out of the movie, I understand.
That's a funny short right there.
Yeah. So.
You get a free bowl of soup with this hat.
Oh, but it looks good on you.
Take 10. You get a free bowl of soup with this hat.
Awesome. So a few more here. Robert Shaw put his own spin.
What's up, JJ? JJ's here.
Oh, JJ,
Friday night.
What's up, man? Yeah, Friday
Welcome
night.
Welcome to House Show Dark.
All the fishes popped for the line. Very true. Very true. So we talked about this, the USS Indianapolis speech by Robert Shaw, which this theater got eerily quiet for, and it really sunk in. He did that like he bombed on 2 takes, and then he did a couple of shots of brandy, and he was kind of a little bit wasted, and then he just knocked it out of the park.
No, wait a minute. I heard an alternate story.
Go ahead.
Wasn't it that he tried to do the scene but was too hammered, and they had to call a day, right? They had to wrap, and then he felt bad, so the next day he came back and all rehearsed and just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what
That's
it
the
is.
story I heard.
He did. They just said that it wasn't in the novel. The backstory of Quint being the sailor and first appeared in an uncredited rewrite of the script by Harold Sackler. Later, writer, director, and Spielberg friend John Milnes expanded the characters into a multi-page monologue, which was whittled down and spruced up by actor Robert Shaw, himself a playwright, on the day of the shooting. So it doesn't. I heard a version of it where there was definitely brandy involved, but I don't know if that caused him to strike out or home run.
You know what? I love when Quint is introduced. So much better than him. What was he watching? Moby Dick? No,
Yes.
just the nails on the chalkboard at that city council meeting.
Yeah. Oh man. And yeah, that lady's face when she did the. It was such a great expression.
Yeah.
So. Another fact, some of what you see in Jaws is real shark footage, and that was the actual tank shot when Hooper was in the tank. That tank goes in the water, you go in the tank, shark's in the water, our shark. Farewell and adieu, ye old Spanish ladies. So, yeah, he hired a couple to actually shoot that, and I believe it was shot in South Actor named Carl Rizzo appeared as Hooper in a mini shark cage in the hopes they can create the illusion of the shark. After trying to get the right shot, the sharks would only swim around the cage. During a take when Rizzo wasn't in the cage, the shark became entangled in the cage, causing the fish to throttle around, and that's the footage you've seen. And he did look stuck in there. This one I always thought was very intriguing, despite all the bloody shark attacks, including Alex Kittner getting eaten on scene. The shark, it was only rated PG.
Jaws is rated PG, yeah.
Yeah, which I remember I was like, I was clearly underage the first time I saw Jaws. So Jaws was initially rated R, but after some of the more gruesome frames of the shot showed the severed leg of the man attacked was trimmed down, the final was given a PG rating. PG-13 wasn't created until Spielberg's own film, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, caused the MPAA to change the system in '84. The poster for the film still reads, "May be too intense for young children," but that didn't stop my parents. All right, a couple more. Jaws poster image came about by chance. That iconic poster image was, there it is right there, was designed by artist Robert Castell for the paperback edition of Benchley's book. He modeled the image after a massive shark emerging from the bottom of the frame after a great white shark diorama of the American Museum of Natural History, which, recently on Shark Week, they actually got a shark. Have you seen Air Jaws when they come with the breach? They actually got a shark to pose for that without trying, which I thought was very cool.
This shark?
Yeah, that's the shark. That's your shark, our shark. It was the biggest hit Hollywood had ever seen. It was the first movie released in more than 400 theaters in the U.S., and the first movie to gross over $100 million at the box office, and the highest grossing movie of all times until Star Wars released 2 years later. Spielberg included a nod to his previous movie in Jaws. The faint roaring sound that is heard after the shark is blown up was also used by Spielberg in Duel, when the film's villainous truck falls off a cliff. Spoiler alert. And then what we talked about was the Jaws ending was in a nod to Moby Dick. The original ending in the script had the shark dying in a harpoon injury inflicted by Quint and Brody in a homage to the crew of the Pequod, but Spielberg decided the movie needed a more crowd-pleasing finale and came up with the exploding tank. Man,
Smile, you son of a...
Man, Spielberg nailed it. He really did. And this is a very strange fact. Last fact, Jaws' main theme music is very easy to play.
I guess that would be a fact.
The sole music notes played by composer John Williams themes are E and F. Jaws marked the second time Williams worked with Spielberg after his film The Sugarland Express, and Williams has composed the music for every Spielberg movie since, with the exception of The Color of Purple and Bridge of Spies, which I thought. So, interesting fact.
Facts.
Yes, facts. Mentalfloss.com. 25 incisive facts about Jaws. What's your favorite John Williams score?
God, Gonna have to go with Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
The Indiana Jones Overture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Surprising, a lot of people would think, Jaws is up there, but if you ask me what randomly pops into my head more, it's Superman. Boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, boop. It's just that first part. Like, have you ever lifted something? Like, if you ever did a deadlift at the gym, or you lift something heavy at work, that's the song that pops in my head.
No, I get the Indiana Jones theme. After you've accomplished something really intricate.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
It is pretty fantastic.
Dun, dun, dun,
This
dun.
stuff just really it just goes to show the importance of music, of just creating a moment. But
The best ever, man. He was doing some concerts for a while where John Williams was just out there, John Carpenter style, and playing his hits with an orchestra. Can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh, that would be phenomenal. But yeah, I would put John Carpenter and John Williams up there as the score of your life when you're thinking about going back in time and the movies that really stick with you. Those are the two guys that really come to you. And we know how important music is in film. And it was odd that John Williams came back for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it wasn't very noticeable, which is very unusual for him.
I think he's semi-retired. I don't think he really wants to do the scores anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if Disney throws money at him to just give it the rub,
Yeah.
it's, why not? Okay, fine, I'll take this truckload
Yes,
of
fine.
money.
My
Thank you.
great-great-great-grandchildren will now be okay.
I'll take this briefcase full of money and I will deliver the score. Thank you. Score by John Williams.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, that's good. You want to jump? Let's jump into another 80s monster legend. And now it's your turn. I feel like it's show and tell
Wait, can
time.
we do an in-between thing?
Yeah, let's do an in-between thing.
I need to grab a weird beer.
Oh, okay. You want to do it? Are we going to do a quick fake break?
Just a quick, no, let's go to the logo
Okay.
and I'll just grab it. Oh, wrong logo. Unplanned.
Yes. No, it's all good. So I'm going to take a little swig of the rum. And do you want to drink to our legs? We'll drink to your legs. We'll drink to our legs. We'll drink to the legs. Because it's Dose Incredibles After Dark. So, oh yeah, thank you. Smoojie. Got some Smoojie. This is good. And I can tell you a hack that I learned. Oh, thank you. So this was a hack that we learned from the man formerly known as the Handsome Stranger, who went on to become Marcus Alexander Bagwell, who went on to become Buff Bagwell. That after a really hard workout, a little bit of beer gives you that buff look.
I'm into that.
Yeah, so just came back from my kickboxing instruction class, which we do on Fridays and
I
Sundays.
think we should always stream after kickboxing class because you seem very energetic today.
Yeah. You drank a little energy drink before you go. And there's something about, I'm surprised I'm still not shaking, but those hitting those combos with people, basically people trying to punch you in the face for 45 minutes really gets the adrenaline going, really gets you amped up.
You're into that. That's your thing.
Yeah. So let's do, so this weird beer is this a Primo special?
It is.
It is. So this is Smooj Orange Delight. Thinking of you makes me work an appetite.
So this is, I like these because these are the legit fruit ones.
Yes. Oh, so this is the ones that basically could be something that you would have on a brunch.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do remember these. So let's get a little pop. Good pop. Oh, yes, I remember you because it even had a little bit of pulp in there.
I thought these were good and healthy.
Yeah, it's like drinking a fruit drink. I got it. Yeah, I got it in there. Okay, cool. It looks good. This looks really fancy, but if you can see, it's got a little bit fizz and a little bit of pulp. All right, are we going to drink to our legs?
All right, give it a try.
Yes, we'll drink to our legs. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's so good. Good stuff. I only have the Gimmick glasses, so I'm going to even pretend to read it, but it's a hard seltzer smoothie. So I don't know. It's out of the lab. Oh, okay, there you go. JJ said the stuff. So I don't know if he's referring to the movie or the beer or maybe both.
That's an excellent film, by the way.
Oh yeah, we went and saw The Stuff, and then they actually
Did we go see The Stuff?
Yeah, we saw The Stuff, and then afterwards, remember, they did a presentation from somebody who worked at Dell's Medical about nutrition in the United States.
Oh, that's right.
Which I thought was great. And I forgot the question I asked. I asked her.
Oh, and she was lovely.
Yeah, she was great. And that was at the Austin Film Society Theater, AFS Theater. But I said, "What's the most dangerous food in America?" And I think that caught her a little bit off guard. But I think she narrowed it down to it's the stuff that gives you anal leakage in chips as the most dangerous food in America.
Chips are the most dangerous food?
The one that gives you anal leakage. That's the one that.
Which is the one that gives you anal leakage? I'll avoid those.
There's one that are it's like low carb baked type chips.
Those diet chips give you anal leakage.
Yeah, anal leakage. She said that's the most dangerous food in America.
That's why I just stick with Cheetos, bro.
Yeah.
Cheetos and Fritos never go wrong.
No, they don't.
They'll never lie to you.
They will not lie to you.
All right, so Smooj Orange Delight is a hard seltzer smoothie featuring legit fruit. Thank you, Primo.
Yes.
He couldn't make it tonight, but he's always... he's got a whole other case of beers for us.
Oh, nice.
We've got to go get. Yeah, so Smooj Lab is... these are all trial batches, just so you know. So you might not be able to get this. You cannot... I don't think you can get the Orange Delight in stores. They have a few flavors. I've seen them in various of the ritzier HEBs. So this is a high-class drink.
Yeah.
This is not... This is like when you're at fancy brunch at the tennis club. You pour these, with your Eggs Benedict.
And it would go really well. And you're right. Only in Texas they do have fancy HEBs. There's that one that has a stage and they have concerts. How many grocery stores have concerts?
I don't know. But now Texas. They've got the HEB. I don't know if you've in San Antonio, they've got the ones with the pizza place in it. They've got one here with a barbecue place in it.
Oh, yeah.
You got any of those?
No.
But the pizza place is good. I hope they expand into the Austin area because they've got great deals.
I hope so too. Can I go rogue for this drink? So I drank half of it, but it just hit me that if we're gonna pretend we're at a brunch,
I know what's coming.
I'm gonna take a little bit of the rum because we're drinking to our legs. And now we just doubled down. So I don't know if it was a 6, now it's a 10. Oh yeah. That's the stuff, dude. That's the stuff that...
oh, my gosh.
2 a.m, you might be, whoa, this is trouble.
JJ's HEB used to have a pizza place. Now it's just sushi.
Now it's sushi. Yeah, that's the only one that I never good. Like, everybody loves HEB sushi. But are they known for... is it Gulf sushi?
I don't know what Gulf sushi is.
You feel like you need an ocean.
It's like... It's... Well, I don't know. There's definitely folks there making it. It's not like sushi... I don't know. It's... instant sushi. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's probably just because it's easy and it's kind of healthy, right? So folks like that. Because I remember HEB when I was a kid, they used to have legit Chinese food restaurants in them, and it was like you could go and get Chinese food really cheap, a huge bin of Chinese food with your favorite 3 items. It was like a Panda Q.
Really?
Not Panda Q. Panda.
Oh, Panda Express. Panda Express. Yeah.
Inside the HEB, but I think as people have become more health conscious, you can't eat sugary fried chicken every day. They pivot to sushi.
Yeah, I guess, it's healthy, and I like their sushi. It is surprisingly good, and it is good. Like JJ said, it's good in a pinch.
If you ever go to, well, at least my HEB in the morning, sometimes they have some breakfast items in their hot aisle. And they make some empanadas for breakfast, which are pretty decent.
Oh, wow, that would be good.
Like $3, you get you 2 empanadas. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, who lived here only for a year, and he's a northerner through and through. I have to, anytime I go back to New York, I have to pack some HEB tortillas in my bags. You freeze them, and then you transport them because he just loves them so much. Like, it's hard to have a Taco Tuesday without those HEB fluffy flour tortillas.
Which tortillas is that?
Just the HEB straight up flour tortillas. They have flavored ones too.
Oh, you mean the ones that are sort of like made there?
Yeah, made hot out of the oven.
Oh man, I need some of those. They don't have those at my HEB.
Oh yeah,
bring some to the studio.
Yeah, we'll bring some. They're usually at the Plus. You can get the flavored ones, but if you get them like when you buy them and they're hot in the morning, you just even put a little bit of butter.
All right, I'm going to give you a hot take right here that is a controversial thing.
Oh, yeah,
and it's going to upset some people.
All right.
But HEB does these refried beans in like a cold bag, Have you seen those?
No.
Okay, so you get like a bag of refried beans cold, and it's like $2, and they are not bad at all.
Really?
And I'm not an advocate of eating refried beans out of a can. I don't think anyone should ever subject, like even in post-thermonuclear war kind of an environment, stay away from refried beans in a can. But these refried beans in the bag that goes in the fridge at HEB,
They're good.
give them a shot.
All right, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna drop a Mike Judge story on you. Mike Judge, I was lucky enough to go bar hopping with him one time, and we did end up back at his house where he invited a bunch of people there, and I thought it was great. He just sat there, and there was a can of beans in the windowsill with a spoon in it, and when he got back, he just sat in the windowsill and he ate the beans out of the can, and it literally looked like it was gimmicked. Like the top was just up. He didn't take it out. There was a spoon in there, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna save those beans for later.
It's his house.
Yeah, that was his house here in Austin. It was one of those undisclosed locations. Like I couldn't get back there if I wanted to.
Yeah, way in the hills.
Yeah,
next to a lake, but not really.
Yeah, the house that Beavis and Bud had built. But it was great that he just had a can of beans and he just started eating them after a long night of drinking. There's nothing like windowsill beans.
I mean, I understand the feeling. I got half a Chipotle in the microwave that I might eat at some point.
Yeah. Well, after these Smoojie Booges, I think you're going to want to.
Hey, have you heard the Clerks 3 reviews are really good?
I have heard that.
Like,
yeah.
It's getting really good buzz. Like,
Yeah.
they're saying it's his best movie in 20 years.
I'm excited. And he had a near-death experience, so I'm not really surprised that he probably brought something back.
And then I've seen other critics, like internet critics, say that it's going to piss people off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Interesting. Aren't you seeing it early?
I am. I had tickets to see it on the 13th. I had a pivot, so I am seeing it on Saturday, September. So a week from tomorrow, I'm going to see it as a Fathom event.
And it's a Fathom, okay.
Yeah, so it is Fathom. So it's playing here in Austin from the 12th. No, from the 13th through the 17th.
And those are all sold out.
No, actually, they added. They're all 7 o'clock across the board, but they added theaters that are playing. Fathom events. So you can definitely grab it. I had some for Tuesday. Tuesday night was the first night. That was the sold out because I wanted to see it on night one.
Folks are seeing it already.
Yeah, they're definitely. They had the premiere too. So yeah, I don't know. This is his new strategy on the release. Like he doesn't get a wide release.
No, he just books his own shows and sells tickets, which is brilliant because you sell those. All he has to do is show up, and then now the ticket is $75 instead of $10.
Right, yeah, and that's what we paid for, right? Because we're going to see it at the theater, and it was a little bit more than normal because it was a Fathom event, so you paid a little more. And then when he comes to town at the Paramount, we're going to see it there, and those were
looks like it's at all the Cinemarks and all the Regals.
Yeah.
For a few days. So yeah, okay, I might sneak out to that.
Yeah, you got all next week to sneak one in, and then I'm excited about it. But he had a near death a lot like it. His wife and his daughter were a little bit upset by it because they realized, hey, you almost died. Don't turn that into a comedy. But he's a filmmaker, and he had to get something inspired him. And you hear all those people that come back from near-death experiences, changed individuals, and I think that was him.
Well, he said, and I've heard this from another friend of mine who had a near-death experience, that when they shoot died for a second. Oh. They shoot died, that they felt the greatest peace they've ever felt.
Oh, wow.
No fear, no anxiety, just peace, and they were dead.
That's unreal. So I'm not surprised that
shoot dead.
And if you come back from that, how are you not going to have like that momentum of just like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I know how this ends. So I got the hacks now. I got the cheat code.
Once you've seen the end, maybe that's a little bit.
Maybe it's a game changer.
It's relaxing.
So I am super excited to see it. I am very excited to see it. I mean, we're fans of him here on the show. But I think it's going to be his best work. And who would have thought Clerks 3, so many years later, that was a trilogy when you first saw that? Because did you see it? I saw it first on VHS. I was not lucky enough to see it in theaters, but I know it played a lot here.
I'm going to date myself, but I mean, I was in college and I remember I saw the posters come up in the student union and it just looked like something I absolutely wanted to see. Because For real, there was a thing back in the 90s when there was the whole independent film wave where if you just pulled off making a movie, it was probably worth watching.
Right.
Right? Like if you just finished it, it was probably worth watching. But like it was like it just looked like something I really want to see. It sounded like a great concept. I didn't get to see it at the student union, but it was one of those that as soon as I got my hands on the tape, it was just on repeat. That and Reservoir Dogs and things like that.
What a great time for filmmaking.
It really was.
It just changed everything. And I know Quentin Tarantino talks a lot about that. He hated a lot of the films before that, and it's amazing that he disliked it so much that he was one of the leaders that changed the game.
He doesn't even like Pulp Fiction, apparently.
Really?
He's got heat with his own movie. It's not his favorite movie.
Was it you that told me the line, or our friends Kristen Hefe that worked for Robert, that the line that Quentin Tarantino says, the directors, it's like, okay, which one are you going to circle? Which take are you going to circle? And he said, I'm a director. I'm not a selector. Was that you that told me that? Or
I've never heard that line.
Yeah.
That was something that...
maybe it was Chris that said that.
Yeah.
Chris, our friend Chris Bushover, he said, I am not a selector. I am a director. So I always thought that was cool that you're not just, let's try it like this, like try it like this. Like he knows exactly what he wants and he directs it out of you to get exactly what he wants.
Have you heard any Quentin Tarantino, like sort of like run-in legends? I've heard from a lot of, because he used to be in Austin a lot for a while. For a few years, he was always here. So people had run-ins with him on the regular.
The only, I heard the legend that I worked with a girl that apparently the foot thing is true. Because he was enamored with her feet. Which I don't think is that big of a deal. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So but leave him alone. Whatever.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I've heard. I had never really, other than I heard he was great, working with him on Troublemaker Studios. Everyone, he said he was a really down to earth, great guy. Like he was really friendly. But I saw a YouTube video where he wasn't as friendly, where some apparently paparazzi was stalking him, and like out of this, it looked like a snowy diner. And you can tell he just wanted to square up with them so bad.
I've heard stories where, they ran into him at a bar, like they were watching Final Four, some friends, and they were watching NCAA. He just kind of showed up, and he was by himself, just at the bar, and they were like, "Hey, whatever, Quentin Tarantino, I guess however you approach Quentin Tarantino," and just started chatting, and he ended up watching Final Four with them all night. And just got hammered and kicked it for hours and then paid for all the drinks and left.
Oh, really? You paid for everything? Wow, yeah. That's awesome.
And I've heard stories of him when Uma Thurman had that one film where she was a superhero, My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, My Super Ex.
He was just buying out full theaters of that and giving the tickets away.
Really?
Just like anybody, he would buy the whole thing out. Anybody came to the thing and to the box office could have a ticket.
Man. He's definitely somebody that we enjoy listening to his podcast. I mean, he feels like just such a real dude. And you've heard more good stuff. There's not many bad things that you heard from him.
He never had to change. And it's amazing because most people get into the Hollywood system and they get chewed up and spit out and beat up.
Yeah.
Even the greatest directors, Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, they've had their moments where the system just screwed him up, man.
Yeah.
Tarantino's biggest misstep, and it's not even a misstep, is Death Proof. And it's fantastic. I watched it 3 times last week. It's on Showtime, and they keep playing it over and over.
I totally agree. I feel like that almost was very influential in getting me to move here to Austin after seeing that film, because there was just something about it. I was like, how many times I went to Guero's just to say, oh, this is where they shot, Death Proof was in here, and same thing with Texas Chili Parlor. Like when I first came here, those are the first 2 places I went to.
Oh, I mean, when the Grindhouse thing was happening here in Austin, it was big. And it was like, if you were a filmmaker in Austin, you were into that. Because, I mean, they did that whole Grindhouse trailer thing.
Yeah.
And everybody who was a filmmaker made one. And they had underground screenings because, they had all these trailers, and then they were doing it for South by, but there were so many that they were doing rogue screenings, and then South by tried to shut the rogue screenings down, so they went underground.
Oh,
and we were doing them in secret. And then I remember going to the rogue screening, and our trailer played, but it was just like everybody people who went on to become famous, you know what I mean, were there screening their stuff and just kegs of beer. I mean, it was an awesome time.
Oh,
it was an awesome time for like that. Early 2000s in Austin was like when it was like a filmmaking kind of mecca. It was a great time.
You know, I have a list of places I want to go when we finally figure out time travel and going across the line, and I'm adding that to the list. I want to come here at that Austin period just to see it. I also want to go to 70s New York, 60s LA. I like 90s Austin.
You're talking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, LA?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm all there.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to go to Casa Vega.
Yeah. Oh man, that would just.
I want to go to Casa Vega now. I think we should do a field trip to LA sometime and just go to New Beverly and go to Casa Vega.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I am all for that. You can get cheap tickets from JetBlue, direct flights, flying to John Wayne, and just get there.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go to New Beverly for years. I would like to go. Sometime.
Yeah. I was only in there every time I'm in town. It's only for a couple of days. And I end up not going. And then when I was like, well, at least let me look. And then it's sold out. But if I'm going to stay long enough, I would just hang out outside the theater and see if you can just get in. I feel like he'd be like, no, it's cool. Come on. Just go stand in the back. Like, I feel like it's going to be welcoming and let you in. What was the name of your Grindhouse trailer?
18 Wheels of Death.
Oh, that's right. You showed me that. That was really, really good. I remember that. Did you? You got a truck too. You got a shoot truck to do that.
Yeah. So my roommate at the time was shoot from a small, tiny town in Texas called Eagle Lake, Texas. Eagle Lake, and he was from this town, and basically it was one of those towns, kind of like Il Mariachi style, where it's just like we can just do whatever we want. And so his buddy was a truck driver. He had a truck. He called his buddy. He's like, you want to do a movie? He's like, hell yeah, I'm not doing anything. And so he brought the truck. And it's like, okay, we're going to drive down Main Street and just hang ninjas off the side of the truck. Is that cool? Sure, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no traffic. No one was coming through. Like we were literally driving an 18-wheeler down the road with multiple ninjas hanging off of the 18-wheeler with a truck. With the 18-wheeler chasing a pickup truck with dudes in the back with shoot shotguns. And
I love that, dude.
That was fine.
That sounds so good. Again, that's why I want to come back to that time in Austin. That's the magic.
Yeah. It really was, man.
So
it was an amazing time.
I'll have to show you the script. It was a little bit late to the game, but there was one that Randy and I
y'all did one for that.
Well, we wrote one and never shot it. It was called
Gotcha.
Rise of the Undead Voodoo Hookers.
Oh, right. That's a great title.
So we never got around to actually shooting it, but it's fun. It's pretty graphic. But by then it was already starting to slide down. Like, oh, okay, maybe just let it go.
Yeah.
We'll wait for it to cycle back around.
And I remember Hobo with his shotgun playing. And the guys were there, and when you saw it, you just knew that was the one.
That was
oh yeah,
got the right pops.
Yeah, it just had something. It had the aura of something that was better. You know what I mean? I don't know. When you're a talented director, filmmaker, whatever, cinematographer, your stuff just pops in a way that's intangible. You know what I mean? It's just you can't recreate that. There's another level. There's another gear that they can take it to.
And they did?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a great title. The movie that came out with Rutger Hauer, the poster, really drove home. It felt like, okay, this is like a Grindhouse.
He's got a new movie coming out.
Does he?
It's at Fantastic Fest this year.
Really?
Yeah. It's called Kids vs. Aliens.
Oh,
great title.
Cool. Yeah, that is a good title. So, yeah, we'll have to check it out and give a review of that. So, all right, let's take us home. Let's talk about Friday the 13th. In 3D with one of the best theme songs in the history of film.
I can't. Can I play it? No, I can't. We'll get shut down.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good.
It's the disco version of Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. So it must have been great.
All right. So look, I'm just gonna tell you right now, and I said this in a text. You missed the greatest screening that you could ever possibly miss.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Have major FOMO and maybe regret your life choices going forward.
I don't know if we give a spoiler. Like we usually give spoiler warnings. Should we start giving FOMO warnings?
This is a FOMO warning, spoiler warning. This is okay. So like Friday the 13th. First off, Alamo's doing 3D movies all month. So if you can make it out to see anything, there's a lot of stuff they're playing.
Terror Tuesday and Weird Wednesdays.
Yeah, Terror Tuesday and Weird Wednesday. So anyway, so the guy comes out, Joseph Sembia, and explains to us how he got this movie. The movie was created just for the Terror Tuesday screening. Apparently, he contacted Paramount and said, "We want to do this. Can we get a copy?" And they were like, "No." He's like, "Look, just send us the files. We'll make our own DCP. We'll do it ourselves. Just do it. Blah 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 blah." I guess apparently Paramount came around. They sent him the movie, and it was like 4K restoration, crystal clear. Everything perfect. But the thing about it is, obviously, it was with, they had the new 3D glasses, the current ones.
The real 3D.
The real D stuff.
Yep, real D, that's it.
So, like, the movie starts, and it's sort of the recap of part 2, and it's giving you the ending, blah, 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 showing you what happened, right? And then there's a part where it cuts, and now we're in 3D. Okay, and I was complaining about this not too long ago when we went to go see Return of the Living Dead. Crowd pop.
They did pop for this.
Yes, as soon as it shifted to 3D, because there was a very distinct visual shift. It's like all of a sudden the movie went deep, and it's like, whoa, now you could see you were in something else, right? So it goes to that.
Awesome.
It goes to that. Crowd pops, blah, 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 blah. But it's not a big pop, just a mild pop, just like they saw it. But as soon as it gets to the credits, okay, we got to the credits.
Yep.
The music starts, it goes black, and the titles are coming out like of the screen. Dude, it was the greatest 3D I've ever seen in my life. The titles of the movie were right in front of me above my freaking fish sticks. Just like right above the tray on like at Alamo. Like you had to literally shift your head to focus. Because I feel like even I may be overselling it, but it was exactly like that. It was the clearest 3D I've ever seen in my life.
Man.
And the thing is, those older 3D movies were all gimmicky. So everything is just about poking you in the face.
Yeah.
Man, and the titles were just like unbelievable. The crowd was like clapping intermittently throughout the titles. You see everybody. I kept shifting my head back and forth to like get out of the way of it. Anyway, credits are great. And now at this point, the crowd is like super engaged. They love it.
That sounds
Then
great.
it goes into that first scene, and you've got Luigi Primo running the store and he drinking his own orange juice off the shelf. I didn't get what was going on there, why he didn't. But like everything is like a gimmick. He's outside doing his laundry and putting stuff on the clothesline, and he pokes the camera with a broomstick or something. Dude, it was right here.
Oh.
It was right here. And the crowd pops. A wife is fixing the antenna on the television. Antenna comes out of the screen, and it just goes like... It comes out. It was so good. It was so good, man. And like, obviously, Friday the 13th Part 3 is not the greatest of the series.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's one of the most iconic, right? Because that's when the hockey mask gets delivered.
That's when we get the hockey mask.
That's Shelley. Shelley's in that one, right?
And Shelley's in that one. He gives us the
Finkelstein.
mask.
Yes.
It's not a bad one. I mean, I would say, I don't know where it ranks as far as like if you were ranking these movies, but the fact that it's in 3D just makes it such a great experience. And then when dude's doing the yo-yo into the screen, I don't know. Everything in the movie's built around the 3D gimmicks.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it originally in 3D.
Yeah.
And there was a few of the kill scenes, right? The spear gun was a pretty famous one, right? The spear gun, but it was shot in 3D.
Yeah.
Was that the eyeball? The squeezing of the head and the eyeball
Squeezing of the head
popped
was the
out?
eyeball, yeah.
That one came out too.
Yeah.
How did the death scenes like that look?
I mean, the eyeball gimmick looks bad in general, but it worked. The stuff that worked best was anytime they were poking some kind of long stick into the crowd.
Got it.
Someone's got a baseball bat, it comes out.
So a little more subtle.
Yeah. Of course, when they cut, the dude's doing handstands and they cut him in half.
Oh, that's right. That was the handstand kill.
I mean, it was a great experience overall. And I really hope they screen it again. If they do, you got to get tickets to see this.
Oh
Because
man, yeah,
it was special, man. It was special. And shout out, I wonder if we could get Joseph Zambia to come or to call into the show, because I think he's doing.
That's a good idea.
He's doing great stuff. Like, I was a little disconnected from the Alamo screenings, and like now they're a little more corporate-y, because like back in when I first moved here, it was a different environment.
Yeah,
it was more rogue, and we're doing a lot of stuff. But anyway, he's doing good stuff, and I really like his introductions and his takes on stuff. I don't know. Maybe
he gets you excited when he comes out, and I do feel like, obviously Alamo is corporate owned now, but I do feel like in that South Austin, South Congress location, in that it's on the older side of the theater, right? It's not on the newer side. It's almost like a pocket of what Alamo used to be. Yeah. I do feel that, and I guess what makes that work so well is his excitement. Like, he really is like a mark for all these films. Like, because what I always like about that is he literally he walks out and he's standing near the door, and it's clear he wants to see people's reaction as they walk out the door. Yeah. And he's going to engage with you, and he talks to you. Like the one time, he looked at me and he's like, thumbs up. Did you enjoy it? And it was Return of the Living Dead. So yeah, of course I enjoyed it. It was great. And his picks, his setup, he sets the mode perfectly. Yeah. He's almost like the 1930s Frankenstein, narrator when he comes out and sets the scene before you're going to go watch the film. And he sets the scene so nicely. And it just makes it feel like an event more than just like you're watching a film.
I am right now, I am living for Terror Tuesday and Weird Wednesday.
Oh, man.
I've got the Alamo
season pass. Yep.
Yes. So I get those every week. I just want to, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to live in proximity to the Sophomore Alamo in perpetuity, because those are my favorite screenings of the week.
Yeah.
And they're just...
Oh, no lie. I mean, yeah, when I do make it down for them, it just feels...
Well, I've got tickets for the rest of the month, so any ones you want to do.
Yeah.
Final Destination is next week, which is okay, but there's some other strange ones that I think look really good.
Yeah, and I don't remember their 3D version. I'm sure it was all about... Because that's all about the gimmick kills, for sure.
I think the 3D one was the roller coaster one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it would be interesting to see it. So I'm definitely down for 1 or 2 for sure to be down here on Tuesday. I'll be kickboxing on Tuesday, so it'll be perfect to come after that, be all amped up, watch us some 3D. So yeah, if you're in town, highly recommend. Do you think there's a chance that Alamo's ever going to be able to they own theaters in Texas. Like, they are the most known throughout the country. People still come here. And even what you would consider a more mild version of what you and I are used to is still head and shoulders above other theaters.
I tell you, I also have the AMC pass. So I will go to AMC. And like, I was there the other day to watch Bodies. And it felt like the Dollar Theater.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It really felt like
the Dollar Theater. And like, there's just some Alamo, their presentation is fantastic. They take a lot of care as far as the sound system, the projection, the bulbs, the screens. They do all the shit like the small stuff you think that no one would even think about. It's like when they're setting up the aspect ratio of the film, you see the curtains slide in and out.
Yes.
You know, right? And then if you go to like AMC, it's just like, whatever. It's just in the middle. They just shoot it, just point the projector at the middle of the screen, and that's enough. But like they that's what I think is their greatest asset. It's not the friggin' chicken fingers or the fact that you can get a beer brought to you. It's the fact that they take so much care into how the movies are presented. The only ones that surpass them is AFS.
Yeah, which ironically is programmed by one of the former programmers at Alamo.
One of the OGs, the Alamo OGs.
Yeah, we have to get a hold of his book. But you're right. You know, that's actually a really good point. They always take time before the screening to give an ovation to the projectionist.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. Have you ever worked a projector at a theater?
Oh, no.
No?
I mean, I worked a projector at like film festivals and stuff, but that's kind of a different deal.
Yeah. How hard is that? It feels like it'd be very intense. To me, it's like the thought of it is very intimidating.
I did was like an LCD projector. Like a film projector, no way.
Yeah.
I could not do that. That's a skill that is like disappearing.
Like, how do you just imagine like the timing that's got to be there, and just like I just imagine all like big sweeping movements.
Yeah.
Not clicking and pointing, like big sweeping physical movements.
Like taking a big spool of magnetic film and like putting it on a thing, pulling it through, setting it up. I mean, it's a big noisy endeavor.
Yeah, I do miss Alamo at the Ritz. I'm sad that closed down, but you get those nice hidden balcony seats with the big cushioning. But you have to walk through the projection room, and they kind of give you a little mini tour while you're walking through there, just to see it in there, and it just feels so like history. It feels historical, but you're still getting served entertainment from this contraption. That literally it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, that you're just like, don't look behind the curtain, don't worry about what I'm doing, just keep looking at the screen, and we just got this big hologram head. That's what those projectionist rooms remind me of. So yeah, it's very intimidating.
They need to do like one of those biographies just about Alamo Drafthouse, because it's had so many phases.
Yeah,
like we've got South Lamar now, but I don't know if people will soon forget that there was another South Lamar originally.
Yeah, the old one, right?
That was different with the giant highball.
Yes.
With the bowling alleys.
Oh yeah, the bowling alley, and it was. I just remember the really old parking lot with the. Was there like a record store that was over there too?
No, it was a boxing gym.
Oh, it was a boxing gym.
And they used to have during Fantastic Fest, the filmmakers would box each other.
Really?
Yeah, like not.
Dude, are you kidding?
You don't remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh my God! There's one very specific incident where it was like, they do this thing called Fantastic Debates, and so what they do is basically they'll come out and they'll debate a movie or a genre or something like this, some kind of film topics. They'll have a debate, two folks. Then after the debate, they would have a boxing match.
Really?
Yes, this was a real thing they would do, and you would have celebrities in there, celebrity judges. If you look it up, there's Keanu Reeves is in there. There was two hobbits fighting each other one time, like the shoot hobbits, not like guys in costumes. It was like Elijah Wood and one of the other hobbits were fighting in a ring. Anyway, like there's one that's on the internet. I think you can still find it.
Really?
There's this this one film critic. And it was a film critic and then like an independent filmmaker were debating. And like it was a shoot. It was like the film critic was like, this is a filmmaker who's done, it was Joe Swanberg was the filmmaker. He's done a lot of like indie films, talky stuff, people just relationship things, some good stuff in there. But anyway, he's done those kinds of movies, not like horror genre stuff. This film critic is cutting promos on him like you wouldn't believe. And your films suck because of this, and you always do this, and blah, 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 blah. And the filmmaker's just like, whatever. I mean, he's kind of trying to debate, but he's getting hammered by this film critic in the debate, right? They go into the boxing ring after. Twist. The director is a shoot boxer. Oh my God. And the film critic is just a pudgy internet troll. And he fucking beats the shit out of him. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can find it, dude. Like,
oh, I gotta find that.
It goes from like literally just like trashing this guy, and then they get in the ring, and he is just pummeling him. And he's not even doing it. He's not like doing it like throwing haymakers and like just wailing on him. No,
he's just dismantling.
He's just dismantling him. He's standing, take his time, take this, take that. Oh, what'd you say about the movie? Boom. And it's just like it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I had no idea this went on.
Crazy stuff goes. That's fantastic. I'm trying to get you to go. It's like stuff happens there that doesn't get reported, that you don't like, doesn't make it onto the net, like just weird things.
And that's why we're going back in time to the 90s Austin, so I can see a film critic get dismantled by a director. Because of course he could have probably went in there and took him out with one blow, but he wanted to make it last.
Yeah,
right?
No, he was toying with him.
I'm gonna beat you with jabs all night long. Poof, 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 poof.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, and you couldn't do that now, right? Corporate would be like, "Oh no, we don't need to do that."
I don't know if they still do the boxing matches, but
no,
we'll see. The schedule is up. They didn't do a filmmaking contest, which I was kind of bummed.
Oh, they didn't?
Well, no, because I mean the festival's in like 3 weeks, and I haven't seen anything.
Oh yeah,
because we'd doing that.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So if you're in town, definitely check it out. But yeah. I don't think people are really going to remember any of the old Alamo, right? That how it had that feel, that sticky beer feel, but it felt special, which was the one was it Colorado, and that later the Ritz kind of kept that magic, South Lamar, and even Lakeline in a way. The first Alamo I ever went to when I moved here was I went to the South Lamar one. I went to the Science of Sleep and checked it out, and I was just like, this is magical.
Yeah. South Lamar, many run-ins with all kinds of celebrities there. Many.
It happened that time when you were with me. You're like, oh, there's the
Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, there's the director of
Scott Derrickson was there. Yeah,
yeah, of Doctor Strange.
Just
like,
out of he's just like right there. Yeah, go talk to him.
That's so cool. Yeah, and Elijah Wood, he's a local. Sure, I'm sure he pops in there, right?
He's all about Fantastic Fest, and I think he actually has a house somewhere in that really cool area behind Alamo Drafthouse. But dude, yeah, coming up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I got you to thank for was that South by, or speaking of that, I don't know if it was Fantastic Fest or South by, when you and I were the OGs watching Cobra Kai on YouTube Red before it became the Netflix.
Oh, that was the South by thing where we went to the Alamo and they had
and they had this set up in the highball, and you can see the first 2 episodes of season 2, and then they had the entire.
Saw Martin Cove, Ralph Macchio.
They were right there.
William Zabka.
They were all there, just right there.
None of the young kids.
No, none of the kids were there.
Just the 40-plussers. But Ralph Macchio, wasn't he tiny? Can I cut a promo on Ralph Macchio? He's a little dude.
Yeah, it was way smaller than I expected.
Like William Zabka, Martin Cove, you wouldn't want to pick a fight with. But
no. Martin Cove looks like a 50s wrestler. He's got the big giant head. He looked like he just headbutt you, and it's just night.
Yeah.
But that was phenomenal. And the funny thing is when you're like
free drinks. Remember, it was like free drinks.
Yeah. And they gave us these great, headbands that had Cobra Kai on one side and Miyagi-Do on the other.
Oh man, do you still have that? I lost mine at the
I got it hanging on the Total Recall poster. I still have that up there. But that was so cool. And I was like, only in Austin that can you have this, that it was free. It was literally a free event because remember my friend Lige, his film Peanut Butter Falcon. Was that Peanut Butter Falcon at the time? Peanut Butter Falcon, yeah. Yeah, that was playing there, but I was he's like, oh, you're going to Peanut Butter Falcon? I was like, actually got a free ticket to the screening of Cobra Kai. And he's like, man, that's badass. And he's from LA, so he wasn't here at the time. But, yeah. And they literally took the highball, set up they were sitting on the stage where you and I crank out karaoke and just getting interviewed there. It was so cool to just like experience that. And now, as we speak, season is 4 or 5. It's 5, right?
5. Did you start it today?
No, I'm going to start it actually when we get home. I'm going to see if I can knock it out this weekend, but I'm very excited about it. And I feel like they're going to try to crank out 2 seasons a year now because it's usually a New Year's special, right? There's no holiday to lead us in, so we're going to have to squeeze it in, squeeze it all in. You think you'll be able to, like, you finish it fast.
Yeah.
Like friend of the show, Mike Bush, he's probably already done. He told me no spoilers. I'll talk to you later.
As soon as I can get a Netflix password, I'm going to get in there and watch it. They're cracking down.
Yeah,
I didn't realize I didn't have a Netflix account. I didn't even know I didn't have one. It's always been signed in.
Yeah, and it's unfair. Like I understand, like if you don't want to get like your father's brother's former roommate type thing, but like you got family members, my niece is just like, hey, I can't log in. It says that there's too many streams going, and I feel bad. And I was like, oh man, I really want to watch this, but you got to get off so you can get on. And it's just like, we're not taking advantage too. It's just like 3 people.
I have a buddy at the, he works at the Sundance Film Festival, and he's been there for a while. And like he got, back when Netflix was starting out and they were like a sponsor, he got some kind of a code where he had a free account forever.
Really?
Forever. So he's had this free Netflix account for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Like since they used to mail them out.
Just back from the DVD.
And he's like, I've never paid for Netflix ever. Not once.
That's awesome. And there's probably some IT person that's just like, what's this account, dude? Like, don't touch that account.
Yeah.
We don't know, but it might break something. It's probably connected to an API.
Yeah.
And we don't want to break that. So, but it's going to be cranking out this weekend because Cobra Kai, I don't know how YouTube let that slip through their fingers because it was a hit on there. Like it was still pretty
they just realized they don't need to spend money on content.
Yeah, because they stopped doing original content, right? That it had nothing to do with the show.
They just don't need to. People will just create. I mean, YouTube is not for that.
Yeah. So they're just like crowdsourcing their creators. Like, well, I guess that's us.
Yeah, exactly. We're giving them free content right now. Put an ad on this. Get your Manscapes.
Yes. Yeah, what's the deal? How do we get in on that Manscaped, that lawnmower action?
Bro, Manscaped, we'll cut an awesome promo for you.
Can you realize? Check out Cola. We can do that for your lawnmower.
Exactly. We're almost there. We'll get to sponsors here soon.
Yeah, we're very close. Cool. So, yeah, we're going to start putting random codes in to get free Netflix changes. Just keep trying it. Up, down, left, right, BA start. Try that one.
BA select start.
That's the late BA select start. Try that one. See if that one works. Cool. Well, I feel like it's a show, man. We did 90 minutes. You want to tap out and call it?
All right.
Anything? I do have an ending, though. I did. Now I feel like we're trying to gimmick all our endings, but I got one.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're going to have to time this one perfectly because we talked about this. We kind of got to go with the Jaws ending, right?
What's the Jaws ending?
We got to try. Come on. Show me the tank. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. Smile, you son of a...